Welcome to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison, and we are officially 6 days away, Chuck Cecil days, from Arizona kicking off its 2025 college football season as the Wildcats will host the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. It's the first time the two teams will be meeting since the passing of legendary head coach Dick Tomey, who built both programs up. After leaving Hawaii, he went to Arizona in the late 80s, and turned Arizona into a defensive juggernaut, winning 10-plus games twice throughout his whole entire career with the Wildcats, including the 12-1 1998 season, where Arizona went on to the Holiday Bowl, finishing 12-1 and number 4 in the AP poll with a 23-20 win over powerhouse Nebraska back in its heyday. We're gearing up for the season. Arizona is done with training camp. It is over. We have seen the Wildcats from beginning to end. We have broken them down inside and out. Again, 61 new players on the roster, a handful of new coaches on the roster, with Seth Dagey taking over as offense coordinator, Danny Gonzalez being promoted to defense coordinator, Joe Salavea coming in, and much more. So the Wildcats are ready. They know exactly what they're going to do in terms of the depth chart. Do we know? No. College football teams do not do that until, I would say, about the Wednesday, Thursday, that last availability before the game. They usually don't hand out their depth charts until the end of the week ahead of the game. This year, we're going to have injury reports. It'll be interesting to see if Arizona will have those injury reports available for week one. I don't think they have to do it until they get into conference play, since it's a Big 12 opponent. But they played Kansas State in a non-conference game. Again, it's two Big 12 teams. The schedule was set a long time ago. It's hard to readjust college football schedules. So you might see the injury report come during that week 3, that final non-conference Friday night game against the Kansas State Wildcats and a cat battle in Tucson. So those are some things to look for this year. Obviously, despite the new faces, there's a lot of familiarity with Noah Fafita back as quarterback. You know, a mix on the offensive line, Rhino Tepe'etoa, if he is starting, if he's fully ready after the injury from last year where he tore his ACL, that's a little familiarity on the line. Alexander Deuce would be familiarity on the offensive line as well. And then in the secondary, Traden Stukes, Dalton Johnson, I almost said Gunnar Maldonado, but he's gone at Kansas State. Genesis Smith, those guys are returning. They look to be one of the better defensive back groups, one of the better secondaries in college football. And for my money, they're the best secondary in the Big 12, and they'll be a top 10 secondary in college football this season with the talent that they added to that already highly talented group. Tay Brown is back at linebacker, and Trey Smith on the edge. So a lot of familiar faces, some new faces, some faces that are returning after leaving in the transfer portal, like Kean Burnett, who spent a spring football season at Kansas before returning to Arizona. And then Tia Savea, who is a key defensive lineman on the Alamo Bowl team, has returned after playing 1 year at Texas. Now, this offseason, Arizona, they were on a mission to add depth to their quarterback room. Last year was horrid. It was absolutely horrible. There was no talent there. You had a bunch of young guys that have never played college football before. There was no college experience there. You had a 4-star recruit that, even though was highly talented, big arm, big body, I think about 6'4", 6'5", Dorman had a slow release, just couldn't release the football, had a hard time reading the field. So you had no talent, you had no experience there. So if Noah Fafita was to go down, Arizona was screwed. They were going to play a walk-on in that situation. We saw Cole Tannenbaum come in against BYU late in the game. That was the backup. No offense to Cole Tannenbaum, that's not going to get it done. And in a situation like that, even though Noah is highly talented, self-motivated, and one of the better leaders in college football, iron sharpens iron. There's no push. There's nobody pushing you. Nobody telling you, hey, you need to do this, this, and that. Or, hey, you go out there and you see that they're slinging the ball all over the place. They're gunslingers. You're like, oh, God, if I don't step up, I could lose my job. There's none of that. And again, Noah Fafita is not losing the job. Noah Fafita is the quarterback for Arizona. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the Big 12, despite what some critics say. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the country. I think he's the top 10 quarterback in this country. So you just need somebody to push and help. Again, you learn from your peers. Noah wasn't learning anything from the young guys underneath him last year. There was just none of that last year. So what did Seth Doege and Brennan do? They went out. They added Braden Locke from the transfer portal from Wisconsin, who started in 16 games, against teams like Alabama, Ohio State, Illinois, Oregon, USC. Had 18 touchdown passes to 11 interceptions with the Badgers. And then they were able to flip Sawyer Anderson, a high-level three-star recruit from Purdue, to Arizona with that Texas connection, just like Doege. They're Texas boys. So now you look at Arizona's quarterback room, and it is loaded with talent. But they all had to learn a new system. They all had challenges ahead of themselves during the offseason and during training camp. For Noah, it was, can he use his legs? Can he be more mobile in this new system? And can he find his leadership voice on the field? He's a great leader off the field. He wasn't very vocal on the field last season. Check and check. We've seen him running in this offense. We've seen him getting guys in line, helping them out, bringing them along with him, not letting them get down. So that's another check for him. Braden Locke, you're learning a new system that's more up-tempo. Wisconsin, that's old man football. That's slow it down. Let's bleed the clock. That's old man football. He was able to excel in this offense. This offense meets his skill set perfectly. And you know what? Even though he's taller and he's got a gun, he's got a cannon for an arm, and he has Jay Cutler-like skills, he's not just a statue. He can move. He can move. So challenge met and accepted with him. And he was able to add a leadership role behind Noah too, bringing a guy that's been around the block just like Noah. And then number 3, Sawyer Anderson, it's time to absorb. It's time to soak up everything that you see going around you. Because guess what? You're not starting this year. And if Arizona is fully healthy, which, you never know in the course of a 12-game college football season, Sawyer Anderson will not see the football field this year. And that's not a knock on him. He's a freshman. He's learning. And what has he done since day one of training camp and spring ball? He has been with Noah Fafita and Braden Locke like glue. He is at their side. He's attached to their hip because he's learning from the veterans what to do. He's understanding the offense. He's understanding how to go about a spring session, how to go about training camp, how to go about weight room, how to go about dieting and all that. He's learning from them. He's seeing what they're doing, and he's applying it to his game. And we've seen him. He has progressed significantly in training camp. Highly athletic, is now hitting the checkdowns when need to, and a strong arm. So Arizona's quarterback room, all the challenges that they were met with at the beginning of the offseason, they've addressed. This coaching staff has gotten it right for them. They've got them in line. They got them where they need to be, and they have them in the perfect position for winning football this season with this offense. This is going to be a fun offense to watch. I don't think people understand how dynamic Doege is as an offense coordinator and how much fun this is going to be to watch. This is going to bring you back to a little bit of the Rich Rod days. Despite being an air raid guy, he cares about running the football. He said you got to run in the fourth quarter to win games. That's what won him his job. That's what impressed Brennan. The fact that you have an air raid guy saying that you don't hear that. You don't hear that at all, usually. So this is going to be exciting to watch. I think the quarterbacks are ready for the season. I think this is the most prepared that quarterback's room's been since the 2023 year with Jed Fish, Jaden DeLora, and Noah Fafita. And I think they're a little bit deeper than that quarterback room. Yes, Fafita and Jaden DeLora were phenomenal. Jaden had his issues, but he was a highly talented player. But behind them, you didn't have much. He had issues. Behind Noah and behind Braden, Sawyer Anderson. who I think will start eventually for Arizona one day. Or, who knows? I mean, he is a highly talented player. I'm excited for his future. But this quarterback room is ready to take on the 2025 season head on, and we'll have more coverage throughout the week leading up to the game with Arizona Wildcats on SI. Visit our website, Arizona Wildcats on SI. Follow us on Twitter at Arizona Wildcats on SI, or follow me, Troy Hutchison, at THutch1995 for more coverage of Arizona.